All right, we have got a great episode of the RR Show here for you. My name is Vince, and we have got 3 stories. Got a couple from Entitled People, and then we're going to dive into Tales from the Front Desk. Oh, yeah. So let's jump into this episode of the RR Show right now. Our first story, as I said, comes from r/Entitled People, posted by user MysteriousMusic676. Old lady funeral crashes for food and drinks. First of all, apologies in advance. English is not my first language, and I'm on mobile. So in my country, it's common to have a small social gathering after the funeral service in honor of the deceased. My grandmother died recently and was buried last Thursday. We held the social gathering in a building adjacent to the church, belonging to the church and used for all church functions that don't have to be in the actual church. Every Thursday, there's a conversation group for 4 pensionists in the area at 4 p.m. So we knew we had to be out by 3:30 p.m. The funeral service in the church was at 10 a.m. So we had been in the building since noon. The building layout is, when you enter the main entrance, you enter a hallway with the bathrooms on the left, the kitchen on the right, and straight ahead is one big room where the gathering was held. So when you exit the room, the kitchen is on your left. This is relevant. At 2:45 p.m., a little old lady shows up and tries to waltz in as if she belongs there. I'm sitting near the entrance, luckily, and make eye contact with her before she's fully inside. She goes a bit red, and this conversation follows. Entitled Lady. Oh, is this the conversation group? I know I'm early. Me. No, this is not the conversation group. It doesn't start till 4 p.m. Oh, well, what is this then? I'm already here. I might as well stay. Me looking around at mourners all dressed in black, having quiet conversations or crying quietly together. No, this is a funeral. We'll be out in about 45 minutes. You can come back then. Okay, I'll just be on my way then. And then she exits the functioning room to the hallway, and then waits a little, then turns left, and proceeds towards the kitchen, trying to grab a sandwich and a cup of coffee on the way out. Me. No, you can't have that. I'm sure they will serve something at the conversation group, but this is ours. Entitled Lady, startled that I followed her. Oh, that was quite the fright you gave me there. You can't just sneak up on people like that. Well, you can't just be sneaking around funerals thinking this is where you belong. I wasn't. I just think it's fair to give me something to eat if you make me wait outside for 45 minutes. Lady, I can't deal with this right now. There's a cafe down the road. You can go there and wait. We are not making you do anything. You yourself said you knew you were early. You can't just help yourself at someone's funeral. The lady scoffs and then walks out. I told my dad and we kept an eye on the entrance. She tried coming back 2 times before making eye contact with me and quickly walking away. We spoke to the priest, and apparently this is a reoccurring issue with her. Usually the priest opens the doors for the conversation group at 3:45 p.m., and she knows this. But she lives near the church, and if she sees something going on, including funerals, she goes for the food and drink, playing the confused old lady card if she gets caught. I mean, I've heard of wedding crashing, but funeral crashing? If I wasn't so irritated with her, I could have almost respected the hustle. Edit. My immediate reaction of get out was because she was actively intruding on mourners at a funeral. She was nicely dressed, was walking fine, straight back, and no visible signs of pain. We spoke to the priest, and the conversation group is for the pensionists in the area discussing what goes on in the community. Like a crossover of a debate club and an HOA meeting, but without actually having an HOA. The priest told us she is not lonely, poor, weak, or any of those things. She is just a mooch. And he's had to have a conversation with her before because she's intruding and disturbing people at all kinds of functions, trying to hustle some free food and drinks. He stopped her from walking out with an entire bottle of wine at a wedding once. She deliberately plays a confused old lady if caught, even though she's mentally perfectly sound. And to the commenter who asked what my grandmother would have done, my father and us grandchildren were no contact with her for many years, and only rekindled about 5 years ago, slowly working ourselves up to a decent relationship in the past 2 years. We were fairly close for the last year or so, but only after she sincerely apologized for all the nasty, mean crap she had done. She was an old school snob, and proudly so. She called herself a snob, and she would have wreaked havoc on the lady and done everything she could have done to publicly humiliate her. I personally think my way of dealing with it was better. Our second story comes from r/EntitledPeople, posted by user PowderFresh86. He got arrested over a receipt. In my 20s, I worked for a very popular theme park in Florida. I worked quick service food at a resort 1 year. One day, I was placed in my favorite position, pizza back. Basically, I was responsible for making pizza, baked ziti's, and breadsticks. The resort guest could call in a special pizza order, and guests could order pizza at the counter as well. Don't ask me why, but I rocked at this position. I was very quick and consistent, so I was often placed back there to my delight, as there was air conditioning and a walk-in fridge. Anyone who's done kitchen work knows how professional kitchens feel, as though they're bordering on hell's territory. I'm in the back keeping a steady pace when a tall man with light brown hair and a beer gut starts arguing with my coworker C up front at Pizza Front. The man claims he had been waiting for his pizza for 40 minutes. When a guest orders a pizza, they're given a copy of the receipt and a wireless pager that will go off when the pizza is ready. Since the pizza is the most expensive item on the menu, and there had been people attempting to claim multiple, it became the policy to have the guest pay for the pizza first. Once the pager went off, bring it back with the receipt so we can mark it, and they receive their pizza. The receipt also has a time on it. C asks the man to see the man's receipt to check the time. He gets angry with her and yells at her and screams that he wants his damn pizza. C became flustered and comes back asking me where his pizza was. I told her that no one waits 40 minutes when I'm back there, and that his pizza would be ready when it's ready. She refused to go back up there because he was so rude, and I went instead. I asked him politely for his receipt, as it had a timestamp. Me: Sir, I apologize for the wait. May I see your receipt, please? Man: Now why do I need to show my receipt? Sir, it's our policy to ask every guest for a receipt before they receive their pizza. First that woman asks, now you. Are you accusing me of stealing a pizza? Me: No, sir, it's our policy. Give me my damn pizza. C calls our small and adorable manager. I'll call her Rose. Rose comes up to the front and politely asks the man what's wrong. I've waited almost an hour for my damn pizza, and they have been having enough nerve to ask me for a damn receipt. Rose: Sir, please don't use harsh language towards our workers, and asking for a receipt is policy. Man: I can use whatever language I want to. By this time, it's clear the man is possessed or drunk, so I call another manager. We'll call him Antonio. He comes out and joins Rose to figure out the situation. The man continues to cuss us out, and he says he plans to get us fired. He also plans to get Rose and Antonio fired as well. Apparently, we are people accusing him of stealing by asking for a receipt. He cussed more vulgarly and loudly. People are covering their children's ears or leaving. The front desk staff looks dazed. Two guys that were managers of the gift shop called security. Security shows up and takes over. Security: "Sir, are you a guest of this resort?" Man: "Yeah, what about it?" "Well, we need to verify your identity. Can you show us your ID or room card, please?" It starts all over again. The man refuses and cusses the security out. He calls them fake cops and says they can't actually do anything to him. He's gonna get us all fired. The fake cops threaten to call Orange County Police if he does not comply. Call Orange County. Well, they did call Orange County. The man is arrested in the middle of the food court. Once the cops show up, he miraculously calms down and shows his room ID. His wife and 8-year-old son were at the pool. A worker had to go get her. She was a blonde woman and pretty. She walked in, looked at him, and walked back outside. She had an expression that said, "I'm done." His face dropped as they walked him out in handcuffs. Due to the policy, the whole family had to leave that day with no refund and was banned for life. They had come there for their son's 8th birthday party. Edit. For anyone wondering, the man had a receipt crumpled in his pocket. He waited 10 minutes. My guess is he was upset about something else and was just taking it out on the world. Our final story for this episode comes from the subreddit that keeps on giving all year long. It is Tales from the Front Desk, posted by user ExcitingWork551. Lobby Bro. A young bro arrived late to check in, and I asked for his ID and a credit or debit card. He says, why? It was already paid for. He shows me his confirmation email. I told him that it was a confirmation email and that the credit card was just to hold the room, and it had not been charged yet. However, he kept repeating it was already charged. I repeated that it was not, and that he would need the physical card or a credit card authorization form. He said that his friend was on the way and he was going to wait. So I went back to what I was doing. 3 hours later, I noticed he was still in the lobby, so I went over and asked him if there's anything I could do to help him. He said his friend was still on the way, but would be here soon. I asked again if he would need the credit card authorization form. He said no, it's already paid for. I said again, it has not been paid for. I will need the credit card or a credit card authorization form. He then showed me that he added his confirmation to his phone's wallet and asked if I needed to scan that for payment. I said no, that's the confirmation. Finally, another bro, and what I assume is his girlfriend, showed up with sunglasses and a hoodie half covering his face. Lucky me, he unzipped his hoodie and took his glasses off before showing his ID and the card. I run the card and it declines, of course. Sorry, I paid $1,000 in plane tickets, bro. Girlfriend and him start to argue, and she just keeps saying, it's because you're in another state. Call your bank. Initially, I'm thinking, no, it's because he spent all the money thinking the room was paid for. After they argue for another 10 minutes about calling his bank, the girlfriend says, why doesn't he stay at, my mom? She has 8 bedrooms. They all looked at each other and walked out. The best part? The original bro never pushed in his chair before he left. So thanks for being with us. The RR Show is a production of Evergreen Podcasts and Wessler Media. Now, if you'd be so kind, please follow or subscribe to our show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're feeling extra nice, you might as well leave a 5-star review. But for more, visit the website, rrshow.com. That is rrshow.com. I'm your host, Vince, and we'll see you next time here on The RR Show.